to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you would like to participate, we have Pastor Tom Albers here with Faith Chapel, here to say a prayer for us.
Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for your love, your grace, and mercy. And Lord, as we gather here tonight, I ask for blessings on this meeting, Lord. I ask you to give your wisdom, give your insight, and your guidance to those who will make decisions tonight to affect all the people of this township. Lord, I ask special blessings on the four members, on the four trustees, as they give their time, sacrifice their time, benefit of all of us, Lord. Lord, we appreciate all the things you do for all the blessings we see, all the blessings we don't. Lord, we thank you for the blessing that you have given the country. We can have open meetings like this. We discuss anything that's on our mind concerning our lives. We ask, Lord, that you bless all of us. In Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you, John.
All right. See you guys.
Okay, well, I'd like to introduce this all here. It's to the right. My next right is Trustee Urban, and to my left is Trustee Kristen Steinley, and I am Don Wilson. If you would, please, I'd like to thank everybody for coming here tonight. If you would, just give us a minute to go over a little bit of paperwork here, and we can go along with the schedule. So at this time, I'd like to accept the August.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of August 13th, 2024. Yes.
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 I'd like to make a motion to approve August 2024 bill payments.
Second.
Yes.
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 I'd like to make a motion to approve August 2024 payroll, EFTs, and withholding vouchers.
Second.
Yes.
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 Okay. This moment. Public participation in township meetings is encouraged. In effort to conduct township business in an orderly and effective manner, the Board of Trustees would adopt the following rules for public participation to conduct a township meeting. Public participation at a regular meeting of the board is limited to 5 minutes for individual speakers. All comments and questions shall be addressed to the chairperson of the board. Okay, we're going to do things a little bit different here. In the past, we had some new people come in here, and they had some new things that they would like to discuss with us. And in our regular business and our reports and stuff got a little bit long, and some people did get some opportunity to talk. So what I'd like to do at this time is accept that what we call this is new public participation or any new subjects. So I'd like to recommendation that we break this up into two different. What we're going to do is call the first one is new public participation, and later on in the meeting we'll go back into the old business. So, is there anybody? Has everybody signed in that would like to speak tonight? And is there anybody here that has something new that they would like to discuss? I'm moving all through it. Yes.
So the purpose of this is if someone, we've noticed and have really appreciated the citizens who have come to this meeting with particular concerns or things that they've noticed or issues they'd like us to consider. We really love hearing from all of you and appreciate you taking your time to come and talk with us. And as John said, there's a lot going on in our township and we're trying to do a lot of things, and sometimes our reports and sort of our regular business can take a minute. So what we were trying to do, just so that everyone is sort of clear, is if you've got a special issue that you wanted to sort of raise that maybe we haven't already heard about and started addressing or trying to work through, we want to make sure that we hear from those folks so that it doesn't get long and then we miss those concerns, because we definitely want to hear them. If it's on an issue that you're looking for an update or something you've been working on, then we would just ask that you wait until we can give some of those updates, and then we want to hear if you have questions as related to those, or if that sparks something for anybody out there. So that's kind of what we're trying to do, and we're hoping that we can make sure that we hear from everyone, because last meeting we had someone that we missed and we still on that. So just to kind of make clear and elaborate just a little bit, that's sort of our thoughts.
Okay, some of the other township meetings that I attended, what they did is if there was a trustee or a representative from the town council or something like that would like to speak, what they did is they gave them first opportunity to speak. So that, with us breaking this into two different sections like this will also accommodate for those issues also. Okay, for me. All right. Now to move into the reports, the first thing we'd like to do is start off with our report with Chief Cooper.
Good evening. Start off in their old business with the August 24 fire and EMS report. We did a total of 173 calls for the month. We had 46 fire calls, 2 structure fires, 2 vehicle fires. We did have 6 auto accidents, 2 of those involved entrapments. We did have air care once, and we did unfortunately have 1 fatality for the month. We had 15 medical assist calls with that. We did 14 calls in the village, 30 calls into the township. We gave mutual aid 2 times for the month. We received mutual aid 8 times for the month. Our route time was 1.3 minutes, and our response time on scene was average about 5 minutes. We had a total fire loss for $18,000, and then we had a total property saved of $494,000. We did 127 EMS calls on top of that. We did 59 calls in the village, 57 in the township. We gave mutual aid 11 times. Our route times were almost identical there, and on scene times transported to our local hospitals 72 times for the month. We did a total mileage of 3,367 miles for the month, leaving the grand total for the year 27,650. Moving on number 2 there, I did receive the estimates for the repairs on the 2021 ambulance from the insurance adjuster. The overall cost for that was $5,476.82. We do have a $250 deductible. A check has been issued to the Burgess Ambulance, who will be doing the repairs for the $5,226.82. They're hoping they've had the parts ordered. They're hoping all the parts will be here at the end of September. Then once they get the parts, they'll call. It should be the following week, they're hoping. And then it'll take around 2 weeks to get that ambulance fixed. Due to the fact that it was a no-fault accident of ours, we were contacted by the gentleman that hit the squad, his insurance company, and I told them to just contact our insurance and to work out any of the details of the deductible. I asked them too that if they would make sure to leave additional costs in that, because the vehicle will be driven to Loudonville, Ohio, so there will be fuel costs going up the back that we would like to have recouped at that time. So our personnel shouldn't go get it, and the ambulance company can get it, so there won't be no employee costs for that. So that's where that kind of stands right now. Number 3 there, the same thing with the engine tender that I reported about striking the deer. We did get that insurance adjuster got that estimate back as well. The estimated repair cost on that is overall was $17,709.38. Township will be responsible for $250 of that. A check at $17,459.38 has been sent to Heritage Fire Equipment so they can conduct the repairs. They are in the process of ordering the parts. I'm just waiting for them to get back to me as to what the timeline would be for that. So I don't have anything right now. Truck's still in service, so it's not a crucial thing. It's got to get fixed today.
We still have backup.
Well,
Two of them.
we have, yeah, but that truck, like I said, it's still in service, so it's not an issue there with that. So.
But when it goes for
When that goes for repair, we will get with Franklin Township and hopefully be able to borrow a tender to be able to keep water source. We have mutual aid to be able to get that automatically handled. So I don't see it being a big issue. So.
is this in for the ambulance as well?
That we have 3 ambulances, so we keep 2 in service. So it's just a backup by rotating them. So we're still up on 2 ambulances. We're not down anything right now. So. Of course, that's, always pending mechanical issues, and, same thing would happen there if we needed to borrow an ambulance from a neighboring department. That would not be an issue, so it would be fine. We've concluded all of our hydrant maintenance on the tabular hydrants for the year. And then last month, I had spoke to you all about the radio grant that we received. We're working on those quotes. I was hoping to get that presented tonight, but speaking with the sales rep, he thinks there's going to be a possibility of a cost savings coming out, so we opted to table that until the next meeting. So don't know if it'll happen or not. So that concludes all the old business that I have.
Questions? No. Go ahead, move on.
I'd like to recommend that Dakota Pollitt be moved from a cadet to a part-time firefighter EMT for 1-year probation. Dakota just graduated in May with his firefighter EMT, and just kind of been with summer being out, ready to get things moving, kind of at that point now. So we'd like to recommend moving him.
I'd like to recommend that Dakota Pollitt move from cadet to part-time firefighter EMT for 1-year probation.
Yes.
Yes.
Number 2 there, I'd like to recommend that Samantha Tolliver be moved from a cadet status to a volunteer firefighter for 1-year probation. She also just recently graduated from high school with her firefighter and has been working on her EMT course. It has been completed. We're just trying to get her through the EMT certification, getting the test done so we can get her ready to work. So for now, she would just be moved to a volunteer firefighter.
I'd like to recommend Samantha Tolliver be moved from cadet to volunteer firefighter for 1-year probation.
Yes.
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 I'd like to recommend to the board that we accept the resignation of a firefighter paramedic McKenna Weaver. She's one of our part-time personnel, just due to her not having the time to put in the department for our requirements with her full-time job that she has. She's just been with the department for over a year in August, so I recommend we accept her resignation.
Okay. I'd like to recommend that the board accept the resignation of firefighter paramedic McKenna Weaver due to not having the time to put in to the department.
Yes.
Yes.
Crews over the past month, we've been painting all the offices in the firehouse and have got everything done and looking good and organized with all the moves of some of the officers around. So that's something that the task that we had for the year we wanted to get completed. A new fire hydrant's been installed out on South Phantom Road at 3126, right across from the entrance to the storage facility. That was a request by Chief Stowell had worked on that before he left, with working with them to make sure we had enough coverage down in there with those storage facilities one in there. We just weren't able to be able to reach to the back side of the property was what our concern, so, that was something that we had asked them to do. That was done with the working of the building department and speaking with them. So that just been installed and it is in service. Last thing I have there is that the department has received a grant from the Division of EMS for $3,966.02. The monies out of that will go to buy EMS equipment used for training. The state gives us an approved list of what we're able to purchase. And that money typically comes from seatbelt fines in the state. I have one last thing that I did not put on there that I wanted to bring up, forgot to bring up, put on there was that the 21 ambulance that we discussed about, while it is waiting for repairs, it's been out of service. We have taken it back to Ford this week because it was having a transmission issue again. Same one that was replaced earlier in the year where it'll lunge, you go to take off, it doesn't take off immediately, then it engages. So we have taken that back to Ford to get that service before it gets into the I can tell you that Central Joint down the street has had the same problem and has had 4 transmissions put into their rate. Try to get the problem solved.
How many miles is on since the last time?
You would ask me that, I'm not, I couldn't tell you, it's probably less than 10,000 for sure.
What about a warranty?
It will have the warranty with that. Yeah.
Okay, thanks for it. Any questions?
Yeah.
Good job.
And I survived my first one.
Okay.
You're still on probation, right?
Maybe, what do you think?
Should be.
Okay, all right, whatever you tell me, let me know.
10 years by now, for sure.
Okay, next report we have will be, police deputy Eric Pike.
So the month of August, you've got the stats there, 73 calls, 22 reports taken, 1 accident report that I took. Assisted other departments 20 times, 2 criminal arrests, conducted 32 investigations, I closed out 12 reports. There you'll see the types of calls that were reported in the township for the month of August. Any questions on those?
Good job. We have 2 dots and everybody else has 1.
Yeah. The thing is with those, it's a lot of times with the thefts, I know there's a B&E there. That has to do with the tenant dispute. So it's not like some stranger broke in somebody's home. It's a tenant dispute. When they got evicted, they went back in. So a lot of those things are just kind of, yeah, it's not some stranger going in stealing stuff. One issue that was brought up was some parking on Grand Avenue, around Gaylord and that area out there. There are no parkings. There isn't any no parking signs up there. We have some on the Inez that I would like to see replaced. No parking signs. I got an email out to the prosecutor now to see if the township can post the no parking signs. The reason I bring it up is because the state regulates the speed limits, whether it's a township road, county road, or state road. ODOT still regulates those speed limits. I don't know if the township has the authority to put up a no parking signs on the unmarked roads for the township or not. So I got a call into the prosecutor's office on that.
We ran across that about 2 years ago. Papa Ridge. I know that has a lot to do with that also.
Well, Papa Ridge already has them.
Now, we ran into this, that somebody was requesting that.
There's a certain width, I can't think of it off the top of my head. I was looking for it last night while I was working, couldn't find it. The road has to be a minimum width before you can allow parking on it to begin with. However, I would still like the signs up so there's no excuse. Because if I'm the average person, I'm not going to know what the width of that is. I can't even come up with off the top of my head. I've been doing this 20-some years.
I
So,
don't recall about that.
Yeah. So, like Poplar Ridge, I know that's wide enough there. I can tell you that's wide enough to have parking on the street. But I don't believe Inez isn't, Gaylord isn't, Ohio Avenue isn't. So they're just real narrow streets. So, like I said, I got to call the prosecutor. I'm just bringing it up so next meeting we could maybe order some signs if we're able to get them put up. I've talked to Ed about it already. I'm throwing it out there with them. So but that's pretty much it.
We're doing our jobs. Oh, yeah, I know what we need to do.
So they're gonna tell you,
What we can and can't do. The only reason I bring it up because I would think we'd be able to, but we can't regulate the speed limits. The state still does that even on the township roads. Because if somebody wants a speed limit change, you guys have got to do a thing, send something to the state for a study to be done. So,
then you'll have in mind where you want signs at.
Yep.
Roads and everything.
Yep. I'll give
Poplar Ridge is my widest street
correct.
in the township.
Right. It's why I can tell you that's wide enough for parking on the street. Yeah. So I'll have more information on that by the next meeting. I'll get with it.
All right.
That's all I got for you.
I know they had some main thoughts, the sign has to be put up here a few days ago. Hey, by the way, the resident said, did say thank you. Oh, you're all good. All right. That's it?
That's it.
Okay, good report. Any questions? All right, this time, we would like to move to the street department, the supervisor, Ed Stanley.
Copy. Cemetery report. Had 13 burials month of August, took in 3 foundation orders, sold no graves, worked 3 Saturdays. 8 posts were set for the gates going in and coming out of the cemetery shelter parking lot. We're putting topsoil around the edge of the blacktop, get it mowable. We have, for the most part, finished all the way around. It needs to weather, it needs to settle down. It was pretty thick fill, so we'll go back for winter and finish it up and seed it in straw. The signs will be put, or not signs, the actual gates themselves will be set in the very near future, which, by the way, were donated from Phantom Tire. He made them, and all the labor and the material was donated. Thanks to that. The cracks are getting sealed up on the parking lot. It's unfortunate that some of the parking lot was softer than we had anticipated, which created problems. Brown County Construction is going to come back and seal up all the cracks and everything, so we'll start to try to heal up. We poured 14 foundations for headstones. I've got 2 on the list to pour now. Hopefully I'll get 6 or 7 more before the weather turns bad, so I can do another pour in this fall. We're down to mowing the cemeteries twice a month now. I think that's all I have for the cemetery. Any questions? Okay, starting on the road report, we finished the road improvements on the Northern Road. Thank goodness, it took me all summer. Waiting on Blacktop Company to tell me when they're going to come in and do the overlay. Like you said, we replaced 2 road signs. One of them, I think, got stolen. The other one got hit. It is kind of tough getting posts in the ground right now, especially up on hillsides. If anybody has any sign requests and they think that, or they know that the signs are missing, please let me know. We'll get to it as soon as possible. Contractor is setting a 40-foot by 48-inch culvert pipe on Macedonia starting tomorrow. I've talked to all the neighbors that are past that culvert. It Macedonia, as you know, is a no outlet road. I've talked to Chris, told him about when the road will be closed and opened back up. For the fire department and life squad. Like I said, I've talked to the neighbors, everybody's okay with it. There is one lady that has a hair appointment at 10:30. So we have to open the road back We are fixing potholes, chip and sealing roads. We've been on that for 3 weeks now. Probably got another 2 weeks of getting all the roads covered with that, then we'll go right back into mowing. We have been trimming trees, stopped all that, so I can get the roads chipped, sealed. We'll go back to trimming trees, getting all the trees cut back from the township roads, then we'll come back and do our final mowing of the roads. Legion Lane, that culvert is in worse shape than Macedonia. It's failing, it's collapsing, it's getting holes in the middle of the road. It won't take long for it to completely fail. There is no bottom in it. I've known that it's in bad shape for quite a while, but the spring rains, the summer rains have really taken a toll on it. This particular job, kind of like the one on Macedonia, it's going to take bigger plates than what we have to cover it while the process is being done. I'd like to contract that job out also. I've already got the pipe on the job. It's going to take 80 foot of 30-inch pipe. It's 2 40-foot pieces of 30-inch pipe. Actually, it's 4 20s. It's doubled 40 foot across. I have a bid. I've talked to 3 contractors. I've only received 1 bid for the job for $5,250. That is us supplying, like always, all material. This price is just labor. I'd like to be able to go forward with this project.
I actually had a request, and I just received this it's a sealed bid here, for the same job, contractor, and I received it probably 5 o'clock. Said we could talk to you about it.
Yeah, he talked.
It's Shannon Escobedo. I talked to Chris.
Yeah, he talked to me last week. And he did talk to me. They asked me some questions.
Okay, and so I'd like to open this up. So that you
Yeah, and
opportunity to bid.
for the record, I didn't make it a sealed bid.
Yeah, he
Okay.
said he heard. Well, yeah, he told me he heard about it from somebody else that taking bids. He said just like try to
That's fine.
get bids in.
Sure.
So at this point, I'd like to open it up. See if he's- All right, this estimate is from Shannon Escobedo, dated 9/10/2024, and it's for the double 30-inch culvert pipe on Legion Lane. It is more. It is $8,115.20. So the bid that Ed gave was from Cornerstone Development. Also, it's for the double 30-inch pipe, and it is for $5,200. Yeah, I'd like to recommend. In Cornerstone is one that you said.
Yes.
How we hear all of them. And so this one, I'd like to recommend you use Cornerstone Development in the double 30-inch culvert pipes on Legion Lane for $5,250.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes. Can I have that, Joe?
you sure can.
And again, this is all labor. Township is supplying raw materials and better that way. Do I have a control on material that goes in?
Right.
That's good, Peter. I'm doing that. That's all I have. Oh, I'm sorry, I got one more thing. Which I'll do this to you all night long, I'm telling you. Abandonment, Leonard Road process, I haven't been talking to you about it, Kristen. I don't really know where we're at on that now. I will say one thing, we have to do something in those 90-degree turns that I built. The gravel was coming out on the road. Once I get done with, Moore Road, I will take those loose stone signs down there. I don't have any more. I can have a couple made if you want. But the stone is coming out on those 90-degree turns on the back.
That's on abandonment, right?
Yes. So if you have anything to add about Vanderbilt Road,
Yeah.
Leonard Road,
No, so we've been going back and forth. We've had several communications, between the Ryan Company and the township regarding the repairs on Leonard and Abandonment from the Nestlewood Solar Project. We requested certain repairs. They came back with an alternative option. We considered that option, based on the letter that they provide from the civil engineering consulting firm. We noted that it wasn't a full report, and so we asked them to reconsider our initial offer, or our initial requested repairs, excuse me. They then asked for us to review the videos that were taken, pre-construction, so back in, I think it was October of 2022. So I looked at them, and asked what exactly they wanted us to look at, and if it was the condition of the roads. And we were aware that the roads had wear and tear and were not in great condition at that point in time, but pursuant to the road, to the maintenance agreement, they had an obligation from our perspective to, put the road essentially back in the condition that it was before construction started. And of the 4 points that they identified in their letter, each one of those portions of the road were works based on the civil engineering and construction firm's evaluation. So I asked them to reconsider our initial requested repairs, which were the entirety of the 2 roads, or perhaps we needed to discuss a full evaluation. So I have not heard anything further from him. But it has been, he was out for some of the Labor Day holiday, so I have planned to reach out to him probably tomorrow to ask if he's considered our repairs. So I'll mention that we need to get something done on this because the gravel is sliding. And I know Rusty has received some complaints about the height of the grass, some of the landscaping around it too, so I'll mention that as well. To be posted.
I might add too, we're out widen the 90-degree turns, which is minimal on extra blacktop, but I mean, we'll, the way I feel, if need be, we'll buy that blacktop to make those 90-degree turns wide. Because that wasn't part of the road before, we added that.
Okay.
So it's just something that's a no-brainer, we'll buy a load of blacktop for that if there was ever a fault. We'll just say something about that.
Okay.
It's just a no-brainer, we have to do.
Okay. Thank you.
Good. All right, good report. Got a lot done. Prepare the rest of it.
Next report we have here is, the zoning with the zoning inspector Shelby Berry.
All right, well, let's not talk too much, so I'll keep real short. I did a bunch of stuff.
Did you hear what I said?
All right, for the month of August 24, 1st, 31st, 14 permits were issued, 2 new street addresses. On the permits issued, I noticed some new information on this report. I started capturing this for your review. Total improvement cost of this 14 permits was $1.3 million, and we collected $900 in application fees on those permits. The 2 new street addresses, one is, if you want me to go through the breakdown of the permits, I can. I didn't summarize it there for you, but all the details are further in the report. the two new addresses, one of them I wanted to bring up. We're having a little bit of trouble with that one. It's on Inez Avenue. It's at the very end. We went ahead and did the street address so they could get they're working to get their driveway permit, but the lot is, I think it's 0.6 acre, and it's a triangular shape, like a right triangle shape. So we're having some difficulty with their site plan, or they would have already had an approved permit, but there's just difficulty with fitting their proposed home in the lot in a place that makes sense with where there's already a driveway cut through in a way. You know, they've been in touch with Ed as well about their culvert and driveway stuff. So it's possible that could lead to a variance hearing. You know, they're in a hurry. I'm trying to do the best I can with it, but the last conversation I had with them, they're getting a little bit irritated with the process. So I just wanted to give a little extra detail about that, which normally we wouldn't go into that much detail about new address, but just set some context for you guys in case you get any calls from anybody else about what's going on there. Phone activity this month, I had 66 voicemails. Sometimes when I was on the phone or not in the office. 61 of those I'm sorry, I think I have a mistake in my report here. So I did, yeah, it happened. 61 voicemails and follow-up calls, 53 were resolved within the month, I have 13 unresolved. 2 of those are permit zoning related, the remaining 11 are complaints or follow-ups on existing complaints. 15 calls were received while I was sitting at the desk, and I placed 49 outgoing phone calls related to zoning. And I clocked in 94 miles on the score. Do you have any questions over the basic report there?
I don't.
I'm going to dig a little bit into complaints and complaint violation activity. Now, as I've discussed to each of you individually, I'm very time constrained on having the availability to really go out and pound at these complaints. I'm doing the best I can to get them addressed, but I know residents are starting to get a little bit impatient with the apparent lack of anything being done about their complaints. So I've received another call and text came through from the county. They called the county and they directed them back to me. I received an email just today from someone at the county. You know, it's about the property on Bethel Concord, 2996 Bethel Concord. It's been an issue, I believe, for a little bit of time in the past. That complaint, I did go out taking some pictures of it. I tried to reach out to them, of course nobody's home. So I just need to start sending out the letter campaign on that one. But the report from the complainant also states that they believe people were living in the garage and other residents on the property. So it could become a little bit of an issue there. Follow up on that. The rest of them, you know, we can look down the address list, and again, I'm just asking for feedback on those. If there's any others that I may not be aware of, at least so I can get them in my list. It's much more comprehensive than where I started out, I think. Details, some of the details on complaint activity. One was on 2606 Swings Corner in Isabel. The complaint was of operating a business from a residence and also about an ever-growing pile of construction debris, like skids, busted up concrete, etc. I've also noted there's several vehicles parked there, I believe, that are not registered. So several things going on there. Consulted with council about some things because I went there to do a zoning inspection, and the property owner refused me access to the property. So I contacted the attorney to see about doing a administrative warrant and getting assistance from the deputy to do the zoning inspection, and she instructed me to move forward with issuing a cease operations order immediately. Fortunately, I didn't get that immediately done, but that was sent out, and we're in the 7-day window that he has to cease operations. According to the mail receipt on the certified letter, it was received on the 6th. As of today, I still haven't received a phone call or any sort of information on the property. So I don't know what their plans are. The second part of that was I also did issue the violation letter for the junk and debris. That stuff needs to be cleared. That's independent of whether or not they should pursue getting the home occupation conditional use of the property through the BZA. Any questions on that one? Because that one kind of came up last minute, but due to what they're doing, and I've received multiple calls about that property, I kind of prioritize it a little higher to get right on that one. I did look into that. There were some questions I had about whether or not they may have deviated from their application on the building that they built as well. So there's some issues there on that property. I'm just looking to work those out. If you don't have any questions on that one, just a little brief update on the 3131 South Bantam storage unit that's going in. They are still under a stop work order that was issued July 24th, I believe. We're still working through getting the proper intersection site distance and site triangle for that intersection related to the fence that he's proposing to put on the property. His application for that fencing was for a 6-foot chain link fence, basically following the property line right of way, which puts an uncomfortable permanent obstacle potentially in the view of traffic at that intersection. So we're working through the details of that, trying to get something that he can accept, that I can accept. I've been across the board with ODOT. I've been with the county engineer, traffic safety, and everyone I talk to, while they're willing to, discuss it, there's nothing they can do, because it's in ODOT's case, it's outside the right of way. They don't have jurisdiction. In county engineer's case, it's not an actively developing new intersection, so they don't have jurisdiction over it either. So it is purely seeming to fall back onto zoning to make the determination of that. And I just want to make sure we're dotting all the i's and crossing all the t's before the township is accepting something that could be unsafe. The rest of the properties are detailed there. If you want to go in any detail on them, and but in the interest of time.
Do we need to set up a meeting to discuss the setback and everything that you came up with?
We may. Based on the last conversation I just had yesterday afternoon with Lucas Braun from ODOT District 8, I think that it's, I'll be reaching back out to the property owner, discussing what I think we need to do with that and where we go from there. So I don't know if I'm ready to say that we need to have a full-on meeting. Let me see where it goes, having a conversation with them first.
Are you putting a lot of work on that?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been a time consumer, that's for sure. I did have one, and as we've said before, I'm not really actively driving around looking for violations or looking to meddle. I will respond primarily to complaints that we talked about before, or reports from other departments. But I did notice one on Patterson Road, property, they had obvious signs of construction going on. Went back to the office, checked, there's no permits on file for that property, so went back out and talked to him. He was building an in-ground pool with, he had not received the zoning certificate or a building permit for it. So, but we were able to voluntarily, you know, he was compliant with that. He said, sure, you know. At first, he wasn't very happy about it, but he came to the office and said, you know, let's get this permit stuff squared away. And they're right with it. So, that was a violation. It was, you know, 1-2 punch real easy.
It's, just so you know, on the Swings Corner, I had received a phone call.
Okay.
The room and stuff, so, yeah, it's, about it, but it's,
Yeah, I mean, on that, I think that there's some confusion for, you know, with people with, you know, doing a home-based business. It's not necessarily prohibited, but, you know, there's a certain procedure, way we have to go about that. And that, I don't know why. I mean, like I said, I tried to talk to the gentleman and, he refused the permit, so I may have been a little bit hasty with saying, okay, well, thanks, maybe right, so I'll be back. Maybe I could have tried to talk to him some more, but no, I'm a big guy, but he's a little bit bigger. I didn't want to push it. It was, I think it was a Friday night. Friday evening, it was probably about 5 o'clock. I mean, you know.
Happy hour somewhere.
Yeah. So, we'll get it straightened out, I'm sure. So that's the essence of the report. I mean, you know, I'm already probably longer than I should be, but got the old business and new business there. Try to be real quick. I did receive a proposal from Cloud Permit and terms and conditions for what they would be proposing to us. It has a $1,000 implementation fee one time, it's a 3-year agreement, and it would be, it's a graduated agreement, so it's 3-year for the 4% escalation per year. It comes out on the proposal as 45 for the first year, 46-ish for the second, and about 47 for the third year. He did say that they have some incentivized pricing on that. They might be able to work on the escalations. We should decide to move forward. As I noted last month, Franklin Township did apparently become a client, a customer of Cloud Permit 2022. I didn't realize it was that long ago. But Jim Lawson in Franklin Township had said he would be happy to talk with people about the software, so I'm going to try to reach out to him and have a real talk about why they chose it, what it's done for them so far, especially since they're 2 years into it. On that same topic, I did have a conversation with Taylor Corbett of the Tate Township, and he had also recommended to look at iWork as an alternative. So I do want to reach out to them and at least have 2 comparisons. In this space, I think it's really Cloud Permit and iWork that are more targeted toward small, local municipalities and townships. Most of the other products are for larger municipalities that their price tiers goes accordingly with the size of their target customer. So this one, and that's per year. That's about $4,500 per year. We're looking at the land use module and the code enforcement module, and this allows, and it has integration with the county's Ezra GIS system as well. So this has online mapping, zoning overlay, unlimited storage, tracking for photos. You know, it's a full-fledged system designed around the concept of what we're doing zoning. So he was more than welcome. The sales rep was more than comfortable with the thought of having a demonstration at a meeting, coming down and talking. So we're going to have some more questions about it, but I want to let you know where that's at.
You want to get with Franklin first?
Yeah, I'd like to talk to them first. Yeah.
and just let us know, and, I think it's worthwhile to set up a time for you to come see, the system.
And the reason I'm focusing on this is a way to improve efficiency and accountability on the day-to-day zoning operation, and also make it a little easier to track violations and complaints. We can kind of look at that. One capability would be to produce a heat map report, like what part of our township or the majority of the complaints coming from, in a way that you can easily visualize that. And everyone, unlimited users, multiple roles of who can do what in the system. So it'd be very handy, especially if we got into kind of thinking ahead for our solar situation as well. We're starting to track more complex approval process that requires multi-department sign-off and building workflows around those kind of things. So if we were to hit that right now, it would be incredibly complicated on pen and paper. I also like to renew my request from last meeting again. I know we kind of got sidetracked away from that, but we do need to have a review of our zoning application fees and integrate the solar addendum into that application.
To that point, I wanted to let you know, I have been having some chats with council about different fees and thoughts about fees. So I had asked her to look at something this weekend. When I hear from that, I can chat with you about it and decide kind of how that shapes up. And I think we'll be ready then to perhaps do discussion.
Great.
Yeah.
And Mr. Wilson, I know that we had talked briefly, last meeting, we talked about putting together some procedures for, maybe having a more documented procedure for taking violations that aren't being remedied, moving forward to an escalation. Some other avenues the revised code allows to resolve situations, nuisance properties. I really haven't had time to draft much more on that, but I did do a little more research in some other townships, how they're addressing some of those things that have it. Most of them are declaring first policies that the township has, property maintenance standard policies, nuisance policies, noise policies, etc., and then going toward the other pieces in a revised code that where the township can take more intentional action against those issues that aren't being resolved purely as zoning.
And that was a question I had from you. I had taken a look at what you provided at the last meeting, the revised code section. And a couple of the different townships that mentioned to me that had sort of defined these things. And are you envisioning sort of creating definitions or describing conditions, this said, right, like nuisance, things like that, sort of declaring those to be, or defining what the township sees those items to be, and then sort of mirroring the procedures set forth in the code?
Right.
I think so, right?
Because those things, those stuff like 507.
Yeah, it was, it's.
505.87.
505.87.
Yeah, 187.
And 187. Those things, those become more of a public hearing. Obviously, they're welcome to come in, witnesses can be brought in, some of those kind of things as well. So it's a much more formalized process at the township level as opposed to purely relying on zoning enforcement and the civil courts too. And, a way of fine that, as we've experienced in some of the longer standing problem properties, just goes nowhere.
So what we would need to do then is identify or set a policy for what the township considers to be a nuisance.
Correct.
Right, and then the way I read this statute, we would just mirror what is provided for by the ORC, right?
Right.
Okay,
And what I suggest was maybe, obviously, there's different types of, there'll be nuisance cars, nuisance debris.
right,
But it's have let's say a issue procedure, let's say 6, 8 steps, whatever, like that. So that way, they say, hey, listen, we warned you twice, the third time we find you, found you in violation, just something like that.
this is our 8-step procedure that we took. And these are the notices that we received that show that everybody's been treated the same exact way.
Sure, and I think the code actually does a really nice job as far as defining exactly what, as far as getting the tax, clean it up. But yeah, if we can find what will constitute an instance, right, so that folks understand that. And then to your point, provide a series of sort of warnings, right, as we are thinking of what
And it's our steps and procedures before we.
right, because I mean, here, what this provides for is that we would actually, at least if I'm reading this correctly, remedy, right, the nuisance that we've identified, but then we would be out that money until, it would just become a lien on the property, right? And so we wanna be aware of that, so he knows at what point we would be able to keep that money. Looks like we're following on that.
I think those are questions that when I read through that as well, it's like, getting some clarification about what exactly that means, attaching it to the tax duplicate, what does that mean?
Yeah,
Is
the way,
Is it perhaps, it's the county reimbursing and then collecting on that lien at some point? It's not clear to me from that where it goes from there.
I don't think the county reimbursed.
I
don't know, I mean, that's, there's a lot of discovery we have to do around what that means.
yeah, the
But-
way that I read it is that we would come out of pocket from the general fund to remedy it. We would file then a lien against the property, but we would be down the line, right, assuming there's a mortgage or any other lien.
Got
If that is sold, all of those would have to be satisfied before we would get paid. And so at that point, I think we just need to be thoughtful about what is the likelihood we would get compensated for that work.
Or, and it, I'm looking at this, from conversation that I had with council, and said you might wanna look at this and see it a way, because it's about the concept of like, look, with the problem properties that we're dealing with, some of these things have been going on for a long time, and there's no,
There's no
to
teeth.
quote is, there's no teeth. And, it's still in all, so what do we as a township do? Do we just continue to apply it, or do we have to take action and then where do we go from there? So it just, we gotta figure something out with that, because, like on the Saltaire Maple property, I'm getting multiple calls from multiple residents. What's going on? What's going on with this? Well, I went to leave this morning and they had the roadblock. I mean, this has got to get resolved out there, and I think taking them over and, having a little slap fine that they're not going to pay, it's not going to disincentivize them to continue to do what they're doing.
No, I agree. It's sort of a balancing act.
Yeah.
But you're right, there is not enough of a deterrent out there. I appreciate you bringing this up, because I think it's.
And, any other questions on that one for everyone? Yeah. Worked with, Julia, we got a new kind of streamlined one-page, we got like a streamlined one-page application I've used for most of this month. It's really working well. It's concise, gets all the information that they need to get, people to be able to fill it out without any trouble. So I'm looking to put that up for download on the website and put up the instructions on what's needed to apply for a permit. Probably we'll hold off until we determine and finalize what we're doing with the fee structures and update all that at one time. But it seemed to be working really well, to email that out to people, they fill it out, and, with a little bit of instructions about all of what they need, and it's improved the quality at this point of what they're submitting with their applications, which is making it just roll right through and get them done. So I just want to let you know about that. That is all I had on hold, and the most important new business item was yesterday morning, the Explorer popped up, said it needs oil change. So, need to know who and where to go for that.
Your car, your oil change.
Oh, was that right?
Well, I know the fire department does theirs, street department does theirs.
Keep going. Zoning does theirs. Trustees do theirs.
I won't mind to do it, it's just like, I don't know if y'all are
We'll do it.
using your personal checkbook to pay for it, right?
We'll-
So it's, you'll give it Conrad,
So,
that group.
so what's, I mean, I just didn't know, cause we got the fuel thing with Witcher, but I didn't know if there was something. When I take it, good change.
In-house.
Yeah, that's,
I just wanna get ahead of it before, where it continues being off the, needing oil change, something gets worse.
I checked about your other one on the floor, and he suggested somebody else, you guys on vacation. Yeah, we were one.
That works. And, I had put on here just a note, I think I already talked about it, about the follow-up calls and complaints starting to get a little bit heated that, things aren't getting done. And like I've said to you, like everything I got, I'm doing the best I can with, and I'm putting in way more time than I should be. But I'm just trying to do the best I can with that. I just hope that if they're calling you as well, that I'm trying to get caught up with that. So, and I apologize to everybody that, anybody's feeling like maybe their issue or concern's not getting addressed, but, I'm doing my best to get to them.
You're doing a great job.
Um,
Thank you for taking the time and extending all of the effort.
And the last, I put it as new business again, this is actually really old before me, but we talked about maybe getting a color printer. I kind of, come to the point, the same place, is I need to have this to send photos along with these violation letters. So what I was thinking on that is, I think we can find a solution. I can work together to find a solution to fit into a budget if you want to set a budgetary number to target, because it's all over the place. There's printers that range from $200 to $25,000. So obviously 25,000. But do we, think about the long-term cost of that too? Toner is more expensive for a laser printer, but it does last longer than we're getting about, on the high yield printer, you're getting about 6,500 pages out of a cartridge. And those are about the one I was looking at, about $160 to replace a toner cartridge. Whereas printer ink might be 65-70, but it might only get 1,500 pages. So, you get a lot more, for an office printer, print a lot of pages. Probably makes sense, but the one that I looked at, that printer with the high yield cartridges, the first run, it was just around $1,000 for the printer and the cartridges. That would be for a color printer, you need 4. So, black laser printer is much cheaper to operate simply because you only need one toner cartridge. So that's why color printers cost so much more. Just there's more pieces that you have to have for that.
what we usually do on stuff like that is like, if somebody, street department needs a piece of equipment or something, they go out and do research, have a suggest on it. You be an IT guy, what's the best fit the application for you.
Well, that's what I had looked at. The one that I kind of backed off on and said, I could get by with a think of that probably. Just like thinking about the long-term cost of that, is I'm going to go through that, especially printing photos. I'm going to go through that very quickly. So yeah. So I'm loath to spend the money on that. But maybe that I would try to do the bulk of like the document printing just go on the black and white, like the good service, save the other one more for photos and stuff, so if, I will, I'll get together the final, I'll see, and I haven't checked to see if I can find that model cheaper anywhere else. You know, I'll probably check like Amazon.
They're really neat, so let's just find out what's the best. That's
Yeah,
what fit our
agreed.
needs.
Let me call ProSource to see if there's any way that you'd be able to even access this.
Well,
I mean, we could try that for you even.
Yeah.
I know it's not convenient for you, but if you had large stuff that was colored,
yeah,
you know, you could be able to do that.
it's no
Here,
problem for
so-
me to come over here and pick them up.
Yeah,
You know, it's just that, you know, about the shared use of it's the problem, because I know we talked before, like, if I'm gonna be printing a lot, is it gonna be a problem for you guys?
I mean, I think those are details we can work out. But, I mean, I don't know that it can happen, but I could call and ask the question for you.
Okay.
It'll be temporary.
I'm gonna go with all avenues.
And that, you know, if I can email it out, I should be able to email in a print out that I can come and pick up.
I would think so too.
That's a good idea, though. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, that or I can just move over here.
We have to find, we're out of room, so we have to put you in a closet. So,
That's not much different than where I'm at now.
you gotta see some of our closets.
All right,
Is that it?
that's it.
No question. All right, we're good. Next thing here is a project updates. Right now, we have a, marijuana moratorium for 6 months. And it's, with all the other stuff that's been going on, we, I would like to make a recommendation that we, motion to have a 6-month extension to the marijuana resolution, to give us further time to, regulation process. Yes.
Yes.
And that will take us up until, yeah, February, so that'll take us up to February. All right, you already, yeah. Well, you wanna go ahead and add in nuisance here with it at the same time?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, so one of the things obviously is we're talking about the marijuana moratorium and the marijuana regulations. We wanna make sure that, folks within the township have the opportunity to come and voice their opinions. After all, we represent the township, and I know, I think some of us have gotten some calls on it, but that's pretty limited. So we'd like to set a public meeting to discuss, the regulation or the permission, or not permission, of, marijuana sales within the township. And then part and parcel, or relatedly, we also want to schedule a public meeting to have comment on the loud noise ordinance. So that has been something that has been discussed a couple of different times here. We've obviously heard from at least one resident and then comments, as well. I have had conversations with Deputy Pike, I've started conversations with legal counsel. And again, I know some folks have gotten calls, some that have expressed a desire for the township to implement something like that, and some who have expressed a desire not to have something like that. And so we wanna make sure we're providing a forum in which folks can come speak on both issues. So,
Well, what I'd like to do is if we post it, let's say tomorrow, that we're having a meeting for the marijuana, public input, and the loud noise resolution. We post it on the 11th, give a week, that way everybody can get it in their schedule. Do what you want to do in 2 weeks.
I would say 2 weeks.
Yeah, let's do it 20, all right.
Well, that's only.
Yeah, I would go into that next meeting.
Let's go to
Because it's
twenty-fifth.
back to school time, folks.
Let's go to the Wednesday, the twenty-fifth, have a special meeting on these Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to recommend that we, post on our website and everything about having a public meeting for a public discussion and input on the whether to accept and regulate marijuana. And then also, the second part of that meeting will be for the loud noise resolution. See how to regulate that, and if it would be feasible to fit everybody. We want the public participation in both of these cases. So then we will have a meeting on Wednesday, 25th of September at 7 p.m. Okay, next thing on, okay, it's, at this point, we have, actually, Mrs. Conway, do you have anything else that you want to add?
Yeah, just briefly, so I sort of mentioned the work that we've been doing with finalizing the fees, to apply to any applications we might get, for any solar, permits relating to the new regulations that we put out, so we're working on that. I already summarized the Nestlewood for negotiations, so those are going along. I am reaching out, we have had a special meeting in which Sabrina was here, July, I believe. And she had given us someone to speak to regarding, working to update our website. So, memory serves, that was an individual over at the current career center, so I'm gonna be reaching out to them, to try and get some information there. She had done a really nice job working with, Franklin Township, on theirs. And then, I had a meeting back in April with Taylor Corbett, who had given me some names of some different folks we could talk to about updating our zoning code. So I'm gonna be reaching out to those folks to try and get some information, get some pricing, figure out what that looks like and timing what that looks like. So hopefully next month I'll have some data to share on it.
I met with the county and state here a week or so ago, also in contact with the folks at Bethel. The old waterworks out there is 150 acres, and they're getting a grant together now to take the old dam out. And that's the first phase of the $1.6 million that they're working on. Matter of fact, the county's looking at next week. And what they're proposing is to go ahead and get the old dam taken out, and on stage one, and hopefully stage two, the park out there. I think the stage will be involved too, and maybe even stage three have a walk trail in for. So some really good information there. And I talked to the community park, and it's beautiful out there. Out there. Like I said, and she's going to come in next week.
We are reaching out and, trying to mend the bridge, working with the town also.
Yes.
Very well, very well. This is the project that, we're helping that in that.
The village has an administrator, so it's, Holly. And she's really, I mean, I've talked to her several times, and she really wants to get along with the township, get some of these grants together, and, they work together.
Is she the one that's coming next meeting or?
No, it's, Becky Park and Soul.
Okay, sorry.
She's the one kind of heading this whole grant thing up.
Yep.
Won all the state, federal, EPA.
That's
Yeah.
Serving
very exciting. If it's there, and I, when I asked, I said, are you talking 10 years? She said, no.
It's a good job.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, that's it. The next thing I'd like to move on to is the, public participation with some of the old news. First one we have on the list here is Lindsay.
My only question is if you heard anything as far as the repair or what they've done with the damaged solar panels over in Nestlewood, the fence being down, that tree was over it, and the ones that were shot was supposedly with guns or whatever, that I don't see how it's possible, but anyway. Are they activating on those? Did they remove those, replace them? Do we know anything about that?
So my understanding is that they did repair the fence. I had asked them about the fence, I think after our last meeting. I was told that they did confirm, repair of the fence. I was just told, I think Rusty just told me the other day that it looked like the panels, were still down. So I'll be including that in my email. So I thought when they fixed the fence, I made the mistake of assuming that they also did the panels. Rusty had mentioned that, he had received a call that it looked like the panels were being down. So I'll be asking.
Now, I'm curious as if there's those ones that they pointed out and made a big do-over as far as saying that they were shot, but I still think it was throwing rocks when they cut the grass.
Yeah, I don't know.
That wasn't wrong.
Yeah,
It
well,
was deer slug.
well, it's where they were in, I don't see how it got there.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just was wondering about this because when I was there, the guy was saying something about they were thinking about stopping that back
He
area.
did mention
And
that,
how much does that take away from lunch?
he was able to turn off the panels, is that what you mean? I
Yeah.
remember him saying that.
Eliminating those or something like that.
Right.
There.
Yeah, so I'll ask about that, but I will, thank you for bringing it up.
There is also a tree.
There's another tree down.
Yeah.
I will add it to my list. Is it in the same area? Rusty, do you
Yes,
know?
yes, it is.
Okay.
Doesn't, it's go around, it's got this nice.
All right, the, second system, excuse me, but
Tracy, is it?
Cola.
McCullough, sorry, my
That's okay.
apologies. I got the Tracy.
Try it when you're in kindergarten.
Mom too.
Horrible.
My daughter says the same thing, Mom, I always say my last name
Yes.
wrong. It's okay.
They call them Cola de Love. I'm like, you don't have to do every letter. I want to thank you very much for allowing. Thank you very much. My name is Tracy McCullough, MCCULLOUG. And I'm running as a candidate for state representative for District 63. Bethel has a lot of great memories for me. Our family moved here from Bullring Avenue to Bethel in 1984. And City Slicker, that I was called by a lot of moving people. Hey, City Slicker! When I worked at IGA, Slicing Bologna, you probably saw me there. City Slicker, she came here and was stunned by how bright the stars were. When you're in the city, light you see are headlights. Like follow up the neighbor's home, noise, lots of light, street lights. So I remember waking my dad up in 1984. I came out to help me paint, which I wasn't much help. And I said, Dad, it's dark. And he said, Tracy, it's nighttime. It's supposed to be dark. And I'm like, but it's dark. And so we came out, we've been on Macedonia Road, 3165 Macedonia. We went outside just to the stars. One of the first times I ever realized how beautiful it was. Never realized I was such a great slicer of meat than I did when I was at IGA. And in 1987, I got a job at the County Library, and I worked there for 33 years. So if you know about summer reading, that's a program that I had something to do with for over 20 years. When I retired with was up to over 10,000 people that participated in the program. So considering going from 3 branches to 10, since, when I started, it was quite wonderful to see the library. But we're lucky to have one right here in your town. I hope you use it. Get your card. Get your library cards. Sorry, I'll never get over that. So during the time that I was working, I went to school for 20 years, working full time, raising my son by myself. And I was told by lots of well-meaning people, hey, city slicker, they still call me that, you're not gonna finish your degree program, there's no way you can do that. I did it 3 times, and I earned my MBA in 2020. So don't let anybody ever tell you to defer your dreams, because they don't wanna reach their own. I'm running because I want to continue to serve my community. I enjoy helping, getting to know my community. I've worked at all 10 branches. I've lived in almost every place in Clayton County. I lived in Williamsburg, Amelia, Batavia. Do y'all know what District 63 is? Okay, we're doing it in alphabetical order. I get to Brown County. So Amelia, Batavia, which is Pierce too, Batavia, Bethel, Elizabeth, Richmond, Ellisville, Williamsburg, then Brown County, Fayetteville, some of Georgetown, and now Orem, and other than Hammersville, so it's like this really strange, huge district. So that's District 63. And so I've worked at all 10 branches, with these covering the desk, so I know a lot of people in Clayton County because of that. And I just want to continue to serve my community. I believe we need more access to mental health facilities. Early literacy centers, early literacy is very important for to get our kids started. So when they hit kindergarten, they're ready to read, which is very important. It's a goal of mine. We have a lot of work to do at Clayton County Animal Shelter, which I'm very much involved in. And I also want to bring more union jobs into our county to sustain our families. I thank you for listening. So I had to have it on my phone. But I didn't want to miss any of the things I talked about, because Bethel is a really important place for me. So, and I appreciate it. I appreciated living here. Drank a lot of spring water, that's for sure, out of springs, not out of a garden hose. So remember, vote for me, Tracy McCullough, MCCULL, OUGH, on November 5th. Let's make the future bright together. So thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions about anything, please feel free to contact me on Media, on AdBlue. It's www.vote for Tracy with an E. TracyM.com. TRACEY. So my parents would make it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. At this point, that is all, everything we have. Thank you everybody for showing up.